Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are attending this session. I'm Nimesh Kumar Gorani, your host for this session today. After having a wonderful success for our first NGIN pop-up talk on space farming, we were overwhelmed by your good responses, and that has motivated us to organize more pop-up talks. Now, I would like to request Ms. Jana Weeks to present welcome note in the session. So, Ms. Jana.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. We're glad you can join us today. We look forward to a great educational experience and conversation. My name is Jenna Wicks, and I serve as the program manager for Farm Foundation, a nonprofit organization located in the United States that's working to solve problems in agriculture. I'm a member of NGIN and would like to take some time to share with you about who NGIN is and what we do. The Next Gen Ag Impact Network, or NGIN, is the global network of networks for, with, and by next-gen agricultural leaders. Our aim is to empower youth in agriculture and related fields by including them right from the start. Together, we will co-create a structure, programs, and community to unlock resources and energy for transformational impact towards the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. NGIN is inclusive to all relevant sectors, including farmers, business, academia, think tanks, NGOs, international organizations, politics, and most importantly, the next generation of agricultural leaders. The network is currently made up of 17 partner organizations from across the globe. Our vision is for young change makers in agriculture to become the agriculture leaders of the future who impact on the ecological, economic, and social transformation of food systems. Our mission is together we empower a purpose-driven next-gen ag leadership movement with the ultimate goal of creating a more sustainable and prosperous future in agriculture. To learn more about NGIN, please check out our website, nginag.org, and follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram to see all the good things that the NGIN network is doing. So thank you all for being here today, and I will turn it back over to Nimesh to introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Jana. Today, I'm so delighted to welcome you in our second NGIN pop-up talk. In this talk, we have an excellent personality as a guest speaker from the Netherlands. He understands the art of communication through food. He's a true example following his passion in food industry. And on behalf of whole NGIN community, I heartily welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Andres Hara, who is the founder of a food enterprise, Root Rice and Beans. He grows his own food ingredients using regenerative agricultural practices, and he uses his farm produces to make more various food products.
Anyway, thank you for the introduction, and I'm really happy to be here. I would like to share with you a little bit of how everything started and how everything is going, and the really positive impact that we can have in our food system.
Dear audience, before we start the main part, if you have any questions during the talk, you can put those questions in the chat so we can take them later. All right, Andres, so now I would like to give you a floor and share your journey of the professional career. So you can explain how this whole journey has started and your qualifications and everything that you want to share.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Andres Hara. I'm from Colombia. I'm 32 years old, and I've been now living in the Netherlands for 3.5 years. I actually started in the food business since a very early age. I started when I was 17 cooking. So I would just like to share with you a little bit of my journey. So I was born in Cartagena, Colombia, and then I've been moving from different cities and different countries all of my life. But there's something that is a constant denominator is food. So in high school, just to share you a little bit with you, like in high school when all of my friends were thinking about, what to do. They wanted to become doctors or lawyers, or I was a little bit dubious of actually what would be my next step in life. But something that I really had with me was the love for food, the love for cooking and for feeding people. It's actually something that came from my mother and my grandmother. So one of my friends actually shared with me and said like, hey, why don't you just study gastronomy, like become a cook? So that was actually a really first step on what it is all now. But basically that was how the whole journey started. I started culinary arts. Um, so I moved to Bogota, that is the capital of Colombia, and then over there I study the basic knowledge of transforming food. And that time I was not really focusing in the whole sustainability and aspects of where our food was coming from, but more in the aspect of transforming any ingredient into something delicious. Then after some internships and some works, I was connecting in a deeper level with the food, and it was when I moved to Peru to the Cordon Bleu. That is a French institute in which I met my mentor. That is actually put the most curiosity in my life, that it was about where our food was grown, who was growing our food, and actually just make me pay more attention to these different aspects that sometimes nowadays we're really disconnect from it. So over there, he told me that a great chef is actually the one that is able to cook with the ingredients that are in their surroundings, that is able to actually know the territory and work along with farmers and producers and indigenous ingredients in order to elevate the cuisine, not just to innovate, but also to preserve traditions that otherwise might be lost or not used anymore. So that's a path that I took for about 2 years when I moved to Peru. Then I moved to Argentina because I wanted to learn more about grilling and wine. Of course, in South America, it just countries like Argentina and Brazil, they have a little bit more of wine culture. And then I lived there and cooked for about a year, and then I moved to Costa Rica. So basically, thanks to cooking, I had the opportunity to travel a lot of countries, because one of the advantages is that well, people need to eat everywhere we go, no? So if you have a talent and you have knowledge, a cook is always welcome in any country. So then I stayed up for a little bit in Costa Rica, and then I went back to Colombia. I opened my own business, and then after a couple of years, it went really well. But then I thought that this is not the ultimate goal that I wanted to do. So I continue exploring the different possibilities, and I found in Italy this University of Gastronomic Sciences. It's basically the University of Slow Food, and then I did my application. And then I moved without any hesitation to Italy. Fortunately, there were different ways of attending university, so it's a scholarship and also some grants. So, and then over there, it was basically we were studying the whole holistic of food production, not to become a chef, but more to understand the gastronomy in a deeper level, from microbiology, chemistry, sensory analysis of taste, law, nutrition, food production, crop production. So it was about 3.5 years, and in all this time, while studying, I was also cooking. So it was always the passion for food. And over there, we had the opportunity also to travel around Europe and around the world to visit many other people that actually are also doing amazing stuff and amazing projects. And we had the opportunity to actually see these different realities and get inspired, and also share with them possibilities that how they can actually not not just improve, but also connect and take this to inspire people and encourage others to do so. And also to show that no matter where you go, there's always people wanting to make a positive impact and a positive change. Then after the university, I was lucky enough that after three weeks of getting my degree, I managed to get a job. So I decided to stay in Italy for a couple of years. I did work in a restaurant as in the head position, so as a head chef of the restaurant, and then I did that for about 1 year. But then I was getting a little bit tired of the hospitality world because of the schedules, the timetables, and all the stress. So I decided to make a little bit of a change. And a friend of mine actually asked me if I wanted to go to Tuscany. So I just went and I switched. I wanted to, at that time, I wanted to become butcher, just to learn how to have the craft of breaking down and having the understanding and the respect for using everything that it's that can be used from the animals that they were growing in this farm. So I did that for about almost 2 years. But then we had the opportunity to actually, with our colleagues from the university, to set up a farm. And we always have this dream that came through in the years that we were studying, about being able to grow our own food for ourselves, but also to share with others and feed our community. And then we felt that it was really important to do so. So we had this dream of being able to find even the smallest piece of land anywhere and start actually growing vegetables to feed ourselves and our community. And then we were really lucky enough that we found, and out of all the places in the world, a small plot of land in Amsterdam, in which we actually, without any hesitation, move and start becoming vegetable farmers, urban vegetable farmers, in one of the biggest metropolis and biggest producers, food producers in the world, that is the Netherlands. And to also show to people that eating locally, eating regenerative, and eating delicious food is possible no matter where you are located. You just need to understand different concepts, and at the end of the day, all of us have to eat. So no matter where you go, if you grow food, you will always have job, or most important, you will always have food on your table. So that's the whole journey so far. So it's been going from cooking to transforming, now to food production in my career. And now, since 2 years, we started a new process, a new project that is actually transforming our own vegetables into different sauces and preserve and let's say deep salsas, to add value to our own vegetables in order to, first of all, extend life, extend shelf life, and add value to the vegetables that we grow. So in that aspect, it has been, we have the possibility now to have in our hands our food chain, that is from growing to harvesting to producing to sell to direct to the customers. And we are really glad and blessed also with this opportunity, because it's something that not everyone have, but it's also something that we have been working with, and it's challenging, of course, but we really see the advantages and the positive aspects that the community that we're building. So just to show you a little bit, I would like to share my screen. Where is it now? Here. So this is our farm. It's called the Stadsgroenteboer. So it means a city vegetable farmer. And this is the picture when we started. A picture when we started. We had just a small greenhouse and a small caravan. Then a little bit of what we do. So in the Stadsgroenteboer is a small vegetable farm. It's almost 1 hectare. Divided in 2 locations, and we do community, a CSA that stands for Community Supported Agriculture. Now we have around, well, this is a little bit not updated, but now we have 200 harvest shares, and this more or less supplying around 300 to 400 people every week with a vegetable box from May to November, end of December. And it was started. We are 5, all former students and classmates from the University of Gastronomic Sciences. So our location, we are in the Netherlands, quite in the northern hemisphere. The Netherlands, just to share with you, is one of the largest producers of vegetables in the world. The second one, to be more accurate, the first one is the United States. And like just to give you an example, like United States, gigantic country, and the Netherlands is like a small dot in the map, but they're the second largest producer of tomatoes, cucumbers, and other vegetables in the world. So this is Haarlem, and we are in between Haarlem and Amsterdam. So if you see in the map, the 2 round dots here, this is where the 2 farms are located. And here it's Amsterdam Central. So we are less than 9 kilometers away from the central station, meaning that there are really few farms that are so close to the city, and it's also a challenge due to the space. If you have been in Amsterdam or in the Netherlands, it's quite a compact country, but it also has its advantages. So from one plot to another, there is a distance of 3.5 kilometers that we do by bike with an electrical cargo bike, fortunately. And then these are the 2 plots that we have. So one is 0.4 hectares and the other is 0.3 hectares, in which we use actually bio-intensive way of growing food, meaning that in every bed we can grow from 3 to 5 different crops every year. But I will tell you a little bit more. We'll tell you more in a little bit. So this is a little map of what we did. So we have in total 4 greenhouses. They are not automatized heated. They're just like the most basic greenhouses. But then the rest, what you see, it's all the agricultural land. Our whole plot is, just to give you a little bit of understanding, is a little bit almost a football field. So this is the football field, this is our land. So it's a little bit more than half. So you can see, just to give you a little bit of the dimension of how big our plot is. So and the two plot combines is a little bit more than the one football field. And this is a little bit to tell you what we grow. So we grow more than 60 different vegetables, around more than 150 different varieties, and I will show you a little bit more. So these are just to share with you a little bit of the pictures of our harvest. And you will be surprised actually by the amount of food that can be produced in a really small amount of space if you work with nature and you understand the process of nature. So this is kohlrabi, and in this picture, in the one in the middle, we have spring onion in the middle and carrots in the sides. So we also do a lot of intercropping, and that's also something really that we started experimenting a couple of years ago to see actually which are the best combinations for the plants that they can actually grow together and they don't compete for nutrients or in the root systems. This is our garlic harvest. Then here also in the middle picture, you can see that the corn is growing and we put a lot of straw for mulching. So also one of the things that we learned so far is that the best thing that you could do is never have your soil uncovered, because it will just give more space for weeds to grow. So what we just learned is that eventually the straw is carbon material, it will decompose and all this carbon will be trapped by your soil. So this is also a little bit of the things that we have learned by doing. And then here in the picture of the left, for example, you can see that we're growing cabbage, and in the middle there is a row of radishes. Also in the picture here to the right, you can see that we try to put as many flowers as possible at the beginning or at the end of the beds in order to work with pollinators that are actually the best workers of nature. Without them, we wouldn't be actually able to do all this, because thanks to them, they are the ones that pollinate the plants and therefore give us yields. So therefore, all the flowers that we put is in order to attract them, because without them, can be really tough and really difficult just to do everything like pollination by hand. So that's why we create an environment in which we have really strong ecosystem in which we attract all these different beneficial insects that actually are part of the whole environment. We also did we have some experimental crops. For example, here in the left is a kind of spinach from Suriname. In the picture in the center is lemongrass. Quite challenging because it likes really heat. So of course it's not really profitable to make it in a country like the Netherlands, but it's also nice to see that still can grow in countries like in the northern hemisphere of Europe. And then in the right side we have the tomatillo, that is a Central American variety of tomato that it also likes really warm. But something that we have discovered is that we have been planting it outside for the last 4 years, and every year we save our own seeds. And then what is happening is that the plant is getting used to actually being grown in these climate conditions, and then the genetical information then is saved in the seeds. And every time you save your own seeds, what it's doing is that the plant is getting more adapted to the conditions in which you are growing it. So therefore it can basically climatize itself to the environment. In that aspect, you can really see the biggest difference in which, like, if you buy, let's say, tomatillos from a package with seeds that are new, and then these seeds are actually grown in a really calm environment and like perfect conditions for them to grow beautifully in let's say in a greenhouse, then of course the first year that you plant them outside is going to be very low yield. But now with these ones, in our case, we have seen an increase in the yield due to the own preservation of our own seeds. So how do we sell our vegetables? Basically, it's a community support agriculture, meaning that people have, they can select, it's a membership. So you have to basically be with us for a whole season. And then we also sell to restaurants and bakeries. And we also have a farm stand that is actually getting very popular. And in this picture, you can really see one of the size of our boxes. That is a small one. Then this is our market stand. We are also quite lucky because we are in a location in which there is a lot of transit of people. So now this is a picture of 2 years ago, but now we increased the size of the farm stand and we are doing collaborations with other bakeries. So now we're also selling on Saturdays freshly baked bread, and we have eggs, and we have syrups, and we have products from other companies, also local initiative. So it's a way to add value to our members, but also to increase the way of collaborating with like-minded people in order to also boost the ecosystem in which we are working. So it's a win-win situation for the farm stand, for the initiative, for the community. And so in that aspect, it's something that we really didn't think that it was going to increase that much, but it was actually quite surprisingly a success. So we are actually 5 members of the team. So we are 2 people from the Netherlands, 2 Swiss Germans, and 1 Colombian. And as I mentioned you before, everything started in the University of Gastronomic Sciences. We did the bachelor program, and one of us did the master's in the food communication. So a little bit of what we did in Italy. So this is the garden in which we were experimenting and doing events. So we were really active on the community of the university. And that's also something that empowers us to continue building communities once we finish the university. So in here, in left to right, so this is Andres. In the middle is Julia, Lisa and Julia. And then the Milo and Laura, and we have been working in different farms around Europe. So this is not just me; it's a whole work of a team that now became a family. So we work in different places, in different farms around Europe, in Norway, in Switzerland, in France. So it's basically gathering all knowledge to be now condensed and be put it into the ground now in the Netherlands. So the whole project started in 2018 and now it's 2022. So it's been it's been a long journey, but it's been a really wonderful process. Ups and downs, discussions, like everything, because in life, of course, sometimes we just share the good things, but I think it's important also to share that not everything is rainbows and pink or purple colors. We also have some discussions, but in a healthy relationship, you have to have these kind of things, because then that's the way for you to grow as a person, as a team, and also as a company. So yeah, I think that's a little bit what I would like to share. This presentation is quite long. We did it for the university we went to, but just to show you a little bit, this is all the timeline. And then this is before we were washing our vegetables like this. So when there is a will, there is a way. No, we didn't have fancy equipment or anything. So we just put some wooden tables and some buckets, and we just start actually farming and trying to deliver as much as possible. We started with 35 members the first year, and now we have 200, and we have a waiting list of 600 people. So the business is going really well. Now we're looking for more land to expand because we cannot supply the demand that we have. And nowadays is the moment in which, thanks to all the different things that have been happening lately in the planet, people are actually asking for more local food, for a shorter food chain, for regenerative food, for initiative, and actually they like going away a little bit more from the industry that actually have shown that, first of all, it doesn't care about the environment, it doesn't care about the people, it's focused mainly on profits. But then we need really to make a choice, and fortunately we are able to do a choice every day, 3 times a day, every time we eat. So I think this is really important for us to really remember that it doesn't matter how small you are. If you make a better choice at least once a day, you're already improving something in your environment or in your surroundings. And of course, this is also one of the things I wanted to share with you, is like this whole work of building our greenhouse. It was quite tough because, well, you know, the Netherlands is under the sea level. So if you dig a hole or you dig a trench, there is water coming everywhere. So it was a lot of heavy work. But then let's see if we have, and then look how it ended up. So we have we built the floor and we did everything ourselves. Also, one of the things is really encourage you to do things that you're not really familiar and used to, and that's also one of the beauty of it, because also it's challenging to just pay someone to actually grow it, build it for you. So you also need to step up the game and do things that you wouldn't think that you were able to do, like building a floor. Yeah, also something really important, and then I will finish with sharing the screen, is we do have a living hedge. So we planted about 1,000 trees around our farm in order to, first of all, create a windbreak for protecting ourselves during the cold months. It creates also a microclimate, and also it has a lot of ecological benefits. So we can also get food from it because we have fruit trees, and we also planted autochthonous varieties from the country. So just basically what we're doing is building a really powerful ecosystem in order to just not feed people, but actually give more to our plot of land that actually what we're taking from it. So in that aspect, we are really happy, because the approach of regenerative agriculture and practices that we have been doing, we can really see that is bringing the benefit to our piece of land. Okay. Let's see how can I do this. Okay.
So do you want to turn off the screen sharing?
Yes, give me 1 second. Sure. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it was very interesting to see how you are using all the modern agronomic practices, of course, climate-friendly agriculture, and how you started your journey right from the culinary field, and then after having a international experience in a different cuisines across the world, and now you finally are growing your own food and making the best out of the West, and that is really great inspiration for the youth. I think we need more young people like you in promoting regenerative agriculture. So with this, I will, yeah.
No, in that aspect, I would also like to share with you a little bit of the project that started with this 2 years ago. So thanks to, of course, the lockdown, due to the lockdown of the Horeca, we saw that there was a lot of food of being on risk of food waste. So we started doing collaboration with our friends and colleagues. And then the experience that I have of being cooking in many different countries just gave me the idea of what if we used something that connect my heritage but with the local ingredients. So basically we just took everything that it was grown in order to prevent the food waste, and we just put it in jars and create delicious flavors. But it was just a thought that we had to do in that specific moment. And now, after 2 years, of course, the lockdown is over. But then the project and the idea was really well accepted by the people that actually it became a business by itself. So, like with this, I just wanted to share that like it doesn't matter what you do in life, in a certain point of it you can really connect everything that you have done. So everything that you learn can be really important and crucial if you ever wanted to sit back and reconnect everything. Whatever you do can really help to develop a really great idea in the future.
Indeed. I think after this COVID pandemic, one of the most positive outcome is that people become more health conscious and they are looking for more sustainable practices in each field. And that's really good. And then I would like to know that how your work has changed the perceptions of regenerative agriculture to other local farmers or your clients even.
So in that aspect, yeah, it's been really interesting because now we have been working with some colleagues that they were really wondering more about the regenerative agriculture, and then because of course they've been doing the conventional agriculture for so many years, and they would think that at the beginning, or like that it would actually be more complicated and more difficult to do the transition due to the yields and due to economical stress. But then it's of course about regenerating the soil. It doesn't happen from one day to another. Like for example, if you have a conventional cabbage farm that you have been growing cabbage year after year, and then you put synthetic fertilizers. And the follow, like if you want to do the transition, it will take a couple of years in order to have the result that we have. But then once you do so, then the results are going to be amazing. First of all, like concepts like crop rotation is really important. Understanding which elements and plants releases in the soil, like the legumes with the nitrogen, or which ones are heavy feeders, or which ones are just basically understand a little bit more what plants are, which different plants require different elements, and then understand that you need to keep your soil balance in order not to exhaust it. So once you understand that, you can really see the the, the benefit in your plot and your soil and your yield. But this is something that is not easy to let's say to explain or to promote, even more if there are farms that actually have 20, 80, 120 hectares. Like for us, it's been quite easy because the amount of land that we have. By the way, we also don't use heavy machinery because we want to prevent soil compactation. But if you have something like 50 hectares, then of course you need to use some machinery, because then you need really an army of people. So in that aspect, yeah, in our case specifically, our community have seen us, and they every time they come, they're really grateful of the work we're doing, because they really see all the love and the passion, and in order for us, in order that we put to grow the vegetables for them, but not just in providing like delicious food, but also to really increase health of our soil. Then in that aspect, it's one of the most important things that actually now people is really starting to understand and to appreciate that that it's just not about eating locally, but it's mainly to protect and take care of our soil, that without soil we actually wouldn't be able to survive.
Of course. And then what were the main constraints you faced at the beginning of your venture in terms of resources or any supports? Or did you collaborate with anyone who was already established in this field and supported you in terms of agronomic practices and all?
So, well, we had the opportunity to work in different farms around Europe before. So all the people that we work and friends, they were really good mentors in sharing. But something that we really see is that every ecosystem of every place you are, it behaves differently. No, so for example, if I'm here in the Netherlands and someone is in Portugal, then probably the conditions will be different, and that's actually something that is really important to understand. Also, in like if you put in Colombia, then also the conditions will be different. So you just need to understand what are your like what kind of soil, what is the best performer, what is actually what you would like to do. If you want to combine it with agroforestry, or you want to do a market garden, or if you would like to do biointensive way of agriculture. So I think in that aspect is the most important thing to understand at the very beginning. And challenges, I think, is definitely access to land is the main one, because land now can be very expensive. And then, well, we had to make some loans to start. We ask, family, friends, banks, to in order to be able to start this venture. And of course, it was a lot of people don't really share, like people have their jobs, and then they say like, yeah, you're going to be a vegetable farmer, like you guys are just crazy like this, you're going to start. But actually we are the ones that eat the best food. So it's actually like in that aspect, of course it is going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. Agriculture is one of the toughest job, and also one of the ones that are unfortunately the least paid. But if you don't see that, you actually can have a lot of benefits of it. So in that aspect, the challenges that precise moment, it was money to start this adventure, and where to find the land. So yeah.
Great. So I think it's also time to take some questions from the audience. So I think, David, you can unmute and ask your first question.
Thanks very much. Congratulations, Andreas, in your success. And you kind of touched on my question there with your last answer. Have you kind of thought about, we'll say you're obviously successful, but if your success continues, you mentioned you have 600 people on a waiting list to subscribe to the service, and the whole business scaling can you manage that ground? Can you manage a farm at scale the way you're doing it? If you're 600 people on the waiting list turns into 6,000, and your farm turns into 100 hectares as opposed to a hectare, do you need an army of men or people, or you mentioned obviously machinery, but can you micromanage a big plot of land in the same way as you're doing there with the greenhouses? Have you thought about that? Because obviously as the time goes on, you're becoming more successful, extrapolate outwards and your business grows. Have you thought about that? How can you scale the business?
Thank you, David, for your question. I think it's a great one, and we have been thinking about that, how actually we can make this grow. And at the end of the day, I will answer you in the two sides of the coin. One part of me think that actually it would be better if there is more people doing this instead of one farmer just growing. But if we have the opportunity to actually get access to more land, we would go for it. I don't think that having 100 hectares would be the solution, but I do think that having a space about um, between 3 and 7 hectares, it would be ideally for the amount of workload that is, and then you can combine it with mm, agroforest, market gardening, chickens, animals, and then you can have actually a really powerful ecosystem. Uh, and then, yeah, we have thought, to be honest, to how to expand the business. And then we have seen uh, with different partners that actually there is a possibility because everyone now is speaking about regenerative agriculture. So they're wanting to give access to land to people that actually have been doing it already. So in that aspect, there is we would have an advantage because it would say to, let's say, just put it like this: let's put a bank. You say, hey guys, we would need this amount of money, sponsorship or a grant in order to invest in this plot of land that let's say was before milking a dairy farm, and then we wanted to transform it into a regenerative farm. It would be now easier for us to actually get it because we can show numbers and facts that we have been doing it for 4 years and can really show the data of the amount of organic matter that we have increased in the soil, the amount of benefits that we have brought with our practices, but also the amount of people that actually wanted to be involved with it. So in that aspect, let's say like this, we would have the pan by the handle if we wanted to go look for investors that we can actually make it happen. So in that aspect, yeah, we have thought about it. In the practical way, then yeah, it would be challenging because then of course 7 hectares is quite a lot of land. So we don't think we would like to use the heavy tractors like a John Deere, like more like a kind of small tractors that they use mainly in France. But you need some machinery. And of course, in that way, one of the things that we have been doing a lot is working with interns, even though it's a great hand, our business is not focused on having interns because we think that it's not a healthy business model because the day you don't have interns, then you cannot do any work. And in that aspect, we don't want that. But we do see interns as a great way actually to put students and people that wanted to learn in direct contact with a reality that is actually happening. So to wrap it up, yes, it is possible now to, thanks to our experience and to the success of the business model, to get more land. It would be more challenging to actually get make it work, but then eventually, you focus something, you focus in one aspect, and then the second year, once you nailed it, you add another component, and then another one. Because one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen so far, and we have done it, is if you want to start with 3 different things, then at the end of the day, or you burn out, or you just spread all over the place, and you don't manage to do much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. Nick also wants to ask a question, so you can go.
Hi, Andres. I first wanted to voice my appreciation. It was fascinating to hear about that journey, kind of from chef to student and now into running the business that you are now. I actually work in a community garden myself in my own community, and we actually do a lot of different partnerships to kind of engage and promote that regenerative agriculture practice. We've worked with like a local coffee shop in order to kind of have grounds in order to recarbonize and give more nitrogen to our soil. And I was kind of wondering, through like these kinds of initiatives in our community, we're a nonprofit, we're run by volunteers. We've been able to have a lot of success with kind of local companies wanting to give and wanting to contribute, whether through that's monetary funds or through kind of donations of coffee grounds or these other materials. But one aspect that we've had kind of more challenges is in how do we engage the community to want to show a greater interest and engagement in coming to the garden, being regular volunteers, and also just wanting to kind of learn more about regenerative agriculture and what we're doing and the kind of the science behind it and kind of promote that within the community. And so obviously with the membership model, a lot of what it sounds like your garden does is that it creates a lot of interest and kind of revitalize and engagement throughout the community. And so I was kind of wondering what methods work the best in promoting that engagement? How have you been able to grow that membership base and their interest in regenerative farming practices and the goal of what you're trying to contribute to the community itself?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. We have discussed about this because I can share with you that something that I've seen in some farms in Germany, that they actually make mandatory to be part of the working days at the farm. It's also something I feel that is great because sometimes people, they just want to get the food, but they don't want to see the work that is behind. And in that aspect, it could be a possibility, but I just don't feel like mandatory. It's something that, you know, it's like if people wanted to come, it's just because they have the will to come and do. So what we do is actually we put volunteers that they can register in an Excel sheet, and we give them 2 days. So we also can focus in like giving them the attention that they need. For example, we do, I think, Wednesdays and Saturdays, being Saturday the biggest day in which we know that 6-8 people, 10 will come, and then we actually, then that day you know that you're not farming, you are managing interns, and you are sharing knowledge with them and putting them together more with what is happening. So that is one of the things to understand, the most, that once you have volunteers or interns, people like wanted to come, then you are not able to do the work that you normally do it. You will need to focus in them, because just one bad experience can just really make something that they don't want it to come. And also something that we really focus is in let them try. So just to give you an example, we call the volunteers, and first of all, like, we start working at 8 or 9 depending on the day. Then we let them come at 10. We do 3 hours of work, and we also know that they're not used to the heavy work farming. So there's people that after 2 hours they're like, oh, I'm tired. So it's like, you know, if that happened, we also have less physically demanding jobs to do. And for example, clean some vegetables, or, you know, peel some garlic, or just like braid some onions. So we also like, but this is things that actually we have learned by doing. And then at the end, at 1 or so, then we do a really delicious lunch, but really simple. It could be just like a really delicious soup, or a stew, or like something that actually they can taste from what they just, with the work they just did. For example, if you're harvesting potatoes the whole morning, just take a couple of potatoes and do a potato soup. Then actually it would be like, hey, you know what? The food you're eating, it was in the soil, like within like an hour ago, you harvested, and now you're eating it. How does it make you feel? So these are those small details that actually just bring really big joy, but it's the added value and the connection is tremendous at that point, because they really feel that what they did is worth, because now they're eating it. So like, it's just in those small details in which you can just really elevate these moments. And of course, they would be your ambassadors, meaning that they go, they do this, and they have this experience. They are going to be all over the place sharing their experience, and then you will have way more people coming and wanting to do this. And then at the end of the day, after lunch, what we do is that they can leave because they can enjoy the rest of their Saturday, or they can stay and continue working with us. And then the people that continue till the end of the day, then at the end of the day, we give them 2 or 3 vegetables to take home, because it's, you know, they also should get something for their work and the passion that, but we don't say like, oh, if you stay till the end of the day, you will get vegetables. We just like, okay, who wanted to stay, who wanted to go, then go. Thank you for your help. And then who wanted to stay, we work extra 3 hours. And then at the end of the day, you go home with a small package of vegetables. That is also, you know, you also feel really connected and you wanted to come again. So in that aspect, those are the things that we have seen that work the best to actually get the word out, because at the end, it's them that actually get to bring their friends, their people, and spread the voice that that this is happening. So that for us, it would be the best way to actually involve both the community, because you go into the working, into hands into the soil, eating, and then they can get something tangible back home.
Thank you, Nick. I think the conversation is on the peak, but we are very close to finish the session. Maybe if it works, we can organize another pop-up talk after a few months, and then we can get more idea. Otherwise, I will also request our audience to visit his website. There you can get good details and also opportunity to collaborate with his enterprise. So yeah, it would be, I think, a good option. So now moving to our closing remarks, I think I would say I'm very thankful to Mr. Andres Hara for sharing your experience and thoughts on regenerative agriculture and sustainable food system. I'm pretty sure that your thoughts will keep us motivated to promote regenerative agriculture in our region. And I also truly appreciate your time and consideration for making this event successful.
Thank you for the invitation. I just wanted to share with you that I just put in the chat the name of the farm and the name of on the website of the food production company. Just if you want to know a little bit more, you have questions, you can always reach to us. We're really happy to answer and to share our insights and yeah, it's just like whenever you need something, please ask. This is also something that we ask many people, and this is actually the way of engaging the community, because alone you can go faster, but together you can go further. So it's
yeah. We agree with that. We need to promote regenerative agriculture worldwide. We need more youth like you, all the audience and our guest speaker. We have to collaborate wherever it's possible, however, and then we should do our best to engage our community, other growers, and then motivate them to use these kind of practices. Last but not the least, I think I would say I'm sure NGIN Authority will keep you updated with all the events like this through our newsletter. So I would kindly request you to subscribe to our newsletter, and then we can get more your response. And based on that, we will organize another pop-up talks. So thank you so much for each and every one of you for for motivating us, our team, to organize more sessions. So all right, with this, I would like to say goodbye and have a nice evening. And thank you so much for your kind presence.
Thank you for having me, and I wish you a great rest of your day.
All right. See you.